So we were talking about using a function and what a function is. We said that a function is a compact formula. And what we mean by compact is something that is full, complete, but is made very small. So that's what they use functions to do in Excel. So if you were to add 100 cells, instead of entering in the formula B1 plus B2 plus B3 plus B4, all the way to B100, that's a lot of, that's a lot of typing, and that's a long formula to write. So instead of having to do things like that, they created these compact formulas. Compact. 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 Let's look at this compact. Let's look at the synonyms of compact. You see where I put my mouse pointer on synonyms? Compact means small, tiny, efficient, compressed. Compressed is something that you make small. Miniature. That's what compact means. So they make these formulas compact, easy to use. Well, the basics one anyway, the basic ones are easy to use. There are some that are very challenging to use, but the basic ones that we are going to learn are very easy to use and makes it faster to complete the work. Then we are talking about functions. 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 That's what we used last night, that last addition that we did where we went to auto sum. We used the sum function. Okay. Okay. So Hamelmal, do you have this open? Not yet. Lee, do you have it open? Okay, could you go ahead and read, please? division, addition and division. Okay, no, they're talking about the operator, sorry. Okay, continue, sorry. Parenthesis, so that's if you write it. You can write it yourself, the formula using the sum function, but you don't have to write it. But we are going to practice writing it continually. Simplifies. So when you're using the functions that we're going to use, you don't have to type anything. All you do, click the cell, click the function, look, just make sure that the range is the correct range, and that's it, press enter. Continue. It is important. You read that one already. The third one. So we're going to see that how you have a calculation, you have all your calculations done, and then you go back and you make changes. When you make your changes, Excel automatically updates the results. Go ahead. Percentages. So when you enter percentages, you either enter it with the percent symbol or with as a decimal. Continue. Okay, we'll also look at that as well. Okay, so now let's go ahead and open our practice our practice exercise. Let me see, practice Thursday, is that AM? No, let's see. Okay. Let's open our practice. The one that we named practice, not the one that we named performing calculations in Excel, nor the one that we use formatting labels and values, not those. We are using the practice workbook. And last night, let's see, we were on calculations, the calculations worksheet. And in the calculation worksheet, if we click A7, remember how we did the first calculation? We entered the numbers that were in the cells in this formula. Now, this is one of the longest way and not the best way to do calculations because you can easily make a mistake by entering the wrong number. So that was the first way that we did it. Then went click B7. The second way, we typed the cell addresses. We typed B2 plus B3 plus B4 plus B5 plus B6. And then we press tab to get to finalize it and get our answer. In this one, in the C7, we clicked. Let me double click here. This one we clicked. We did not type the cell addresses. We just clicked. We entered our equal sign. Then we clicked C2. Then click, oh no, click C2. Then we put our plus sign. Click C3. Then we put our plus sign. Click C4. Then we put our plus sign. Click C5 plus, and then C6. And we finalized. And then in this one, in the column D, in D7, that's where we use the sum function. So we are going to delete this in D7. Let's delete that, and we're going to do that again. So what's the first thing that we have to do? We're using the sum function. What we read about. What we read about using the sum function. Uh-huh.
And then select the equal signal, and then use the function
Wait, let me show it to you again.
editing. Directional. To be entered, then on the on start editing of the output. comma, and on.
So what do we do first?
Select the cell.
So the first thing we do, we select the cell where we want the result. So where do we click? With D7. Then what do we do next? What's that?
The home and select the.
Read it again. Mm-mm.
And on the home tab, edit to group, search for the autosum, command and click on it.
So that first part, first click the cell where you want the result to be entered, where you want the result to show. Okay, so let's do that again. So what do we do first? The first thing we do when we're using the function, we keep saying do the equal sign. It doesn't say enter any equal signs. What do you do first? Click the cell where you want the result to show. Then what's next? Home tab, which group? Editing group. Look for what? Auto sum. And then do what? Just click. Just click. Because if you want to add, you don't have to click the arrow. You don't have to click the arrow if you want to add. Anything else, you have to click the arrow. Okay, let's do that again. So what do we do first?
Select the cell.
Click the cell, then
Go to the
home tab,
tab,
then
and in the section, the
editing group, then
then select autosum.
auto sum. This is auto sum here. Yours says auto sum. Mine doesn't say auto sum, but yours says auto sum. Oh, it's the same like me? Oh, some of them like me? Wow. This is a. So let's go ahead and click auto sum. And there it is. There's an equal sign. There's the function name. The function name is sum. There's an open parenthesis and a close parenthesis. And inside the parenthesis is the range that we want to count. But we always have to make sure, we always have to check to make sure that Excel has selected the correct range. Okay? So now that we see that Excel has selected the correct range, D2 through D6, we can finalize. So we want to go to the cell to the right. So what do we click on the keyboard? Tab. We click tab. There. So this time we are going to write it. We don't have to write it, but I want you to write it so that you will see what goes first, what goes second, what goes third, what goes fourth. Okay? So this you do only if you are writing the formula yourself. But you do not have to write the formula yourself. All you have to do is just come here and click the auto sum. You do not have to write the formula. I'm having you write the formula so that you will know how the formula is written. Okay? But that's not the way you do it. Okay, so when we're writing a formula, what do we start with? Equal sign. And when we are using a function, after we enter the equal sign, we enter the function name. Which function are we using? Sum. Write it all in capital letters. In capital letters. Sum. Oops, excuse me. And then after sum, what goes next? Open parenthesis. And then what goes after the open parenthesis? The range. The range. And remember, the range is 2 or more selected cells. So what's the range that we're going to calculate? E2, capital E, E2, then, we're writing a range.
Colon.
Colon. We enter the colon. Whenever we're writing a range, we use the colon. Because we're just writing the first cell in the range and the last cell in the range. So E2 colon, and what's the last cell? E6, capital E number 6. Oops. Capital E number 6. Then what's next?
Close the references.
Close the parenthesis. And then we want to go to the cell to the right. How do we do that?
Tab.
Tab. Well, we finalize with tab. Any questions about that? Okay, we're going to write it again. But this time, do you see a list when you type S? When you start typing the function name, you see a list comes below? Let's do it. We're going to write again. But remember, you do not have to write. I'm just having you write so you know how it's written. But the way you do this is to go to the editing group and click auto sum. That's how you do it. But we are just learning how to write a formula with the function. So how do we start it? Equal sign. Then all I want you to enter is the capital S. So you see, the minute you enter the first letter of the function name, you get a list of all of the functions that start with the letter S. These are all the functions that start with the letter S. And you can scroll, and there is sum. There is sum right there. But an easier way to get sum is to enter the U. So enter a capital U, and now it's a shorter list. And there is sum right there. You don't have to scroll. So double click sum. When you double click sum, it finishes writing the name of the function, and it gives you the open parenthesis. And instead of typing, you can just select, use your mouse to select F2 through F6. And you see it is written, the range is written for you. And then what do we do next? Close parenthesis.
Parentheses, yeah.
Any questions before we finalize? Huh? What?
When you say capital U, was I supposed to type the parentheses, no typing the U?
Okay, wait a minute. Let's do that again. So Divine, tell me, how do we start a formula?
Right equal sign.
Equal sign. Now we're going to enter the function name. The function that we're going to use is the sum function. So we use capital letters because they're easier to see. So we're going to enter the capital S. As we enter the capital S, we see a list of all of the functions that are in Excel that start with the letter S. You can see we have to scroll down to see all of them. These are all the functions that start with the letter S. So you can scroll down and look for some. So there is some right there. You can scroll down and look for some. But the easier thing to do is to just enter the U. So you enter a capital U. You type the U. You type the U. You got it?
U and A, S and the U.
Yes, S and then U. And then you'll see below, you'll see sum below. So you double click sum. Double click it and it finish writing it. It finished writing it and it gives you the open parenthesis. So then all you have to do now is select the range of all the cells that you want to add. So what do we select? The, huh? F2 to what? F6. There we go. And it's written in parentheses for you. And then what do we do next? Did you get it? Did you select the range? So what do we do next? No. What do we do next, class? Close parenthesis. Let me tell you, in these simple functions, you don't have to close parentheses, but it's important to get used to close the parentheses because there are functions where you have to close the parentheses. So just get used to closing the parentheses. And then we finalize. We want to go to the cell to the right. So what do we press to finalize? Tab. You got that? Any questions? Take a minute, have it percolate, 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 percolate. Right, that's what coffee does when you are boiling it. And you have those coffee pots that you can see the coffee boiling. That's percolating. So everyone is good with that. But remember, we do not have to write the function formula. We do not have to write it. All we have to do is click the function on the ribbon. Okay, and this last one, let's see, what do we do with this last one? Let's just do it the way it's supposed to be done. So what do we do first? Let me click away. What do we do first? Select the cell where you want the results to show. Then, you're using the sum function. What do we do next? Go to the Home tab. Which group? Editing group. What do we look for? Auto sum. We want to add, so we don't have to click the arrow. So just click auto sum. We can see it's the correct range. We want to go to the row below. So what do we press? Enter. We want to go down. So we press enter. Okay. So now I want us to look, we're going to go to the editing group and go to the auto sum. And we're going to click the arrow to the right of the auto sum. Here are some of the function names that are used very often. So they put them right here to make it easier to find them. But if you click this here where it says more functions, or if you go to the formulas tab, you have auto sum here as well, and it has two parts. The top part is if you want to do addition. The bottom part is those other ones that people use very often. But we can also see recently used, but you haven't used any other sums, but you'll see a list anyway. And then we have our financial functions. So in the financial world, these are the functions that they use. And then we have logical functions. There aren't too many. Here are text functions, because there's a lot of text used in Excel. So there are functions to manage the text in Excel. We have date and time functions. Date and time functions. We have lookup and reference. You do use this a lot in the office. You have to find things. And then we have math and trig, cosine, and all of that stuff that I've forgotten from high school. That's the only thing I remember, cosine. So you will find the sum function here in math and trig. Yes. What? Yes, sum is right here. Yep. And then you have even more functions. You have statistical functions. You have engineering functions. You have cube functions. You have information functions. You have compatibility functions. You have web design functions. So let's go back to the home tab. So we'll stay on the home tab, editing group. So we're going to do these average, count numbers, max, min. Okay, so let's go to cell A10. Click in cell A10 and type average. Oops. Average. Might as well write it in all caps. Average. And then press enter. And instead of count numbers, we're going to call it count. Count. Press enter. Then we have minimum. Minimum. Press enter. Oh no, maximum should go before minimum. It doesn't matter. Then we type maximum. Maximum. And let's go and put our cursor between column A and column B. Click and double click. Okay. Average, count, minimum, maximum. We only have 4. Average, count, minimum, maximum. Then we're going to do average first. So we're going to click in B10. And what do we do? After we click the cell where we want the result to show, what do we do next? Go to the home tab, then editing group, then click the arrow to the right of auto sum, and then we click average. And there is the formula. But guess what? There's a problem with the formula. What do you see as the problem with the formula? Right, it gave us the wrong range, right? Because it included B8 and B9. Do we want B8 and B9? No, we don't. So we have to fix it. So we go to B2, put our mouse pointer in the middle of the cell, and keep it in the middle of the cell. Click and drag to B7. No, sorry. B6. And there. And you see now, the range in the formula is the correct one, B2 through B6. And then we press enter because we want to go to the cell below. So does everyone understand what an average does?
But in this case, we didn't close the parentheses, it was automatic.
Yes, right. No, we don't have to do anything except make sure, click the cell, click the function, make sure we have the correct range, and finalize. So everyone understands what an average does, what it is? Okay, let's talk about an average. So an average adds the numbers. So it's going to add 1,500 plus 83 plus 645 plus 27 plus 1003, 1,003 plus, that's it. So it adds it, right? So we can add it easily like that. So it adds it, and this is the total. This is the total. This is the total here. That's the total. So then it takes that total, and how many numbers do we have? 5 numbers. We take the total and divide it into 5. So the total is, let me copy it from here. I don't want to copy the color. So it takes the total whoops, what was that? Oh, okay, I know what that was. I don't know what that was. Okay. Let me do that again. Let me undo that. Did I do copy? I think I did. Let me paste. Why is it giving me that? Why is it giving me that? Anyway, so it takes this number. Let me copy. I don't understand what's happening. Let me see. Formula. Formulas and number formatting, keep source formatting. No borders. Let me see. Values and number formatting, values and source formatting. How do I get this correct number? Paste link, formatting. We don't want formatting, we want formula. Where's the formula? Keep source. Formulas and number formatting. Let me just write it because this is crazy. Okay, let me just write it. I don't know what's happening here. So I'm just going to write it. 32, 3258. So you take 3258 and you divide, oh no, we have to do the equal sign. Equal sign. We take the 3258 and divide it into 5 because we counted 5 numbers. So we divide it into 5 and we get 651.6. That's the average. That's the average of these numbers combined. And that's how you find an average. Okay? So that's what average is. Any questions? Okay, next one, count. We select the cell where we want the result to show. Then we go to the Home tab editing group. We look for auto sum. We click the arrow and we're going to click count numbers. Now look at the cells that it selected. So this will always happen. If you are not in the cell directly below the numbers that you're calculating, Excel gets confused and doesn't know what to enter. So you have to help it. But if the cell is right below the numbers that you're calculating, it does it perfectly. But these results are not directly below, so we have to help Excel by selecting the cells that we want to calculate. So we want to calculate B2 through B6. And there. And then we press enter and there. So what does count do? It just counts the number of cells that have numbers in them. That's it. So if we have in the range, let's see, the range was B2 to B6. So there were numbers in all of those cells. But let's come to column C and let's delete 83. And now let's do the calculation again. So we click the cell where we want the results to go. We go to the Home tab, Editing Group, click the arrow or the auto sum, click Count Numbers. Now we have to select the cells we want to be in the calculation. So C2 through C6. And then we press enter. So the result now is 4. And that's because there are only 4 cells that have numbers in them. 1, 2, 3, 4. Nothing in this one. Now let's come over here. Let's delete 83. Yes.
Discount from 2 up to 6.
Huh?
2 up to 6. We count the last one you say.
What exactly? I'm not understanding.
We count from
The range?
sales to
The range?
from 2 to 6. We say that.
Yes, the range.
C2
6.
through C. Just select them. You don't have to write it. Just select C2 through C6. Mhm. So now we're in column D. We deleted number 83. And in cell D6, type your first name. And finalize it. Now let's click cell D11. We want the result of this one to be in D11. Everyone got that? You deleted we're in column D. Delete number 83. And in cell D6, type your name. Everyone got that?
D6,
Huh? In D6, type your name.
delete the number two.
Just type your name. Just click on it. You don't have to double click. In fact, don't double click. Just click on D6 and type your name. Do not double click. So in column D, we remove the number 83. And in cell D6, we typed our name. Any questions? Anyone didn't understand what we're doing? Okay, then. So we're going to use count numbers again. So we click cell D11, D11 by count. And then we're going to go to Home tab, Edited Group, click the arrow to the right of Auto Sum and click Count Numbers. And we have to select the range. So our range is D2 through D6. D2 through D6. So select D2 through D6. And then you can press enter. So now it gives us 3. So why does it give us 3? Exactly. Exactly. So it only counts 3. It only counts 3 because there's nothing in D3 and D6 is not a number. And count only counts cells with numbers. Okay? Okay, now let's do minimum. So let's go back to B12. So what minimum does is show you the lowest number. The lowest number. It's easy when we only have 5 cells with numbers. But a lot of these worksheets that businesses keep, they are large with a lot of numbers. So these functions come in handy when they need some basic information, like which one is the lowest number, how many cells with numbers, things like that. So we're looking for the minimum, right? So let's go to Auto Sum, click the arrow, and we're gonna click min, M-I-N, min. There's min. So let's select the range. So we want B2 through B6. B2 through B6. And it's going to give us the lowest number. So press enter to go to the cell below. There, and that was the lowest number in that range. Any questions about min? Okay. So let's see. let's do maximum now. So we're in cell B13. So we go to the editing group, click the arrow to the right of auto sum, and we're gonna click max. And you can see max and min, you cannot use the words maximum or minimum in the formula. In the formula, if you're gonna write it, it has to be max, M-A-X, or if you're using minimum, it has to be min, M-I-N. If you write if you write maximum or minimum, it won't calculate. But average, you have to write the whole word, average. You can't write AVE or AVER or AVG. You have to write the whole word average. But minimum and maximum, you use min and max. So let's select our range. Okay, and let's press enter. And there we go. Okay, let's go to cell A1. Let's go to cell A1. And we're gonna type doing calculations. Doing calculations. And we want to keep that same cell A1 as the active cell. We want to keep A1 as the active cell. So how do we finalize if we want to keep A1 as the active cell? If we want to keep A1 as the active cell, how do we finalize? Control enter.
Enter.
Control enter. Now what I want you to do is to merge and center what's in A1 from column A to column G. Merge and center what's in A1 from column A to column G. Merge and center.
Hi, fecha. Hi, fecha. Hi, fecha. How are you?
How are
Fecha?
you?
Good, good.
And
You
you,
come
how
to-
are you?
It's okay. See you. See you.
What's the problem?
Nothing. Only she said hi to
Please
me.
say hi, Miss Landa.
Oh, okay. Hello. Okay, any questions? Anyone has any questions? No, we're good? Okay. Let me share again. Okay. Oh, did you see Nigato? Did you see who was here?
Yeah, that's why.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Okay. So everyone was able to merge and center from column A to column G. We type in cell A1, we type doing calculations. This is cell A1 here. You find the column letter, and the row number, and that's the cell. Remember, a cell is the intersection of a column and a row. It's the intersection. That's a cell. So when we say A1, we mean the cell, not the column or not the row. We mean the cell. Okay, so we select A1 through G1. And then where do we go? Alignment group. And we look for what? Merge and center. Some screens will see the word merge and center, and some just see the command. So if you don't see the word, just put your mouse pointer on each command until you get to merge and center. Merge and center is right there. So you click merge and center. And then go ahead and format. You can change the font, change the font, change the font. Change the font. Change the font. Can change the font size. You can change the font color. Change the font color. Add some background color. Go to fill color. Add some background color. Some background color. Okay. Any questions? So this is what we're going to do. We're going to create a new worksheet. So go down to your sheet tabs, and to the right of the last sheet tab, there's a circle with a plus sign. If you put your mouse pointer on it, it says new sheet. So click new sheet. And there it is. So we're going to rename it Calculations Practice. It's a long name. Just practice, practice. We're going to name it Practice. Practice. And we're going to finalize it by pressing enter. And we're going to add a color to the tab, like all the other ones. Add a color, tab color. What color don't I have? Let me try that pink. No, let me try a lighter pink. This. pink. There we go. Any questions? Oh, by the way, just want to remind you that we're gonna have a typing test sometime after we return from the winter break. So you should, remember I had asked you to continue to do your typing practice. We just couldn't do it in class anymore because we need the time and we were behind. Okay, so now we are going to go back to calculations. Go back to calculations. We're going to select A2 through A6, A2 to A6. A2 through A6. And we're gonna copy, so you can go to the tab clipboard group and click copy. And then go to the practice worksheet. Go to the practice worksheet. Click in cell A2. Go to the clipboard group on the home tab and click the top part of paste, the top part. And we're going to do autofill. We're gonna use autofill all the way to, let's see, column F, to column F. Huh? Drag it. Put your mouse pointer on the border, on the cross border, and drag it down just a little bit to go here, right? Copy. Autofill, we did to lock column F. Autofill, corner. On the little square in the corner. You see that little square there in the green? Move your mouse. You see? In the corner?
Yeah.
There's a little square, tiny little square. Put your mouse on that.
Yeah.
Select Want to practice? Try it again. Yes, and take it to the. Yes. Good. It's okay, yeah.
Is the problem is that when I select
Oh,
for,
oh.
okay, I said different. Thank you. What's the purpose?
Got it?
Yeah.
Okay. So, the, for, A2 through A6, you're going to calculate using the cell addresses. Using the cell addresses, clicking, you can either click the cell addresses or you can type the cell addresses. We are calculating A2 through A6. We are adding. We are adding. Every time you want to run something. And everything I'm gonna write up formula, what's the first thing you have to enter? No, you're entering the cell addresses. A2, A3, A4, A5. Okay, now, okay, now, that's okay. Plus side right here. No, not the function. We are not using the function. We're not using the sum function, we're not using any of the function. We are using the cell addresses.
Like this.
Okay, now, so what do you start with? What do you start a formula with?
A2 is equal to.
Equal sign, right? What's the first cell that you're going to enter? A2. Then what do you do after A2? Plus. Then what's the next cell? A3. Then what do we put after A3? Plus. That's what I mean by using the cell addresses. You can click on the cell or you can type the cell address. 1 minute, Marcel, I'll come. So I was telling the class that we are calculating the results using the cell addresses, right? So we begin the formula with an equal sign, and then we can either click the cells like that, and then we enter our plus sign, or we can type. We can type the cell address. See that? So we're going to use that formula to calculate. Yes. A6, yes. The amount in the amount in column B, we are going to use the sum function. The sum function. The sum function in B7. Using the sum function. Don't wait for me to finalize.
Good evening, Carlos Rosario, students, teachers, and staff. At this time, we will begin dismissing classes. To allow for social distancing, please wait until your class is called. Teachers, please make sure students exit through the same door and path they used to enter. Students, if you are testing at this time and have not finished, please continue to test. Students, if you need assistance with smart trip cards or other services from Student Services Department, please go to the department in room 217 to get help. Students, food services is selling meals near the exits. At this time, classes in level 5, level 4, and level 1, you may dismiss.
Okay, now let's do this one.
Oh,
No, let's see this way, this one.
No.
That's not some, yes.
No, you did it wrong. Delete that.
Right, equal sign.
Delete.
Equal two.
Click away. Click away, you did it wrong. Click in the, where you want the,
Now,
you want the result, stop.
first one. No,
You
click
want the result
on the top.
in that cell. All you have to do when you're using the auto sum, just click on auto sum. No, just auto sum. That's yeah,
And plus
that's
sign.
auto sum. You can click sum.
And
Yes,
leave
it's
the
sum.
sun, leave the sun.
So what's the point of doing two steps with it?
And
And that's it. That's it. Yeah. The final. Yeah, that's it. Click on it. Click on it. See the formula?
Now, leave the first one. Last one.
So,
Leave the second one.
time goes by when you're having fun. Eh?
Leave it, last
Any questions? Any questions?
Last second.
If you need to talk to me about the grades, please, we can do that after class. Okay, homework. Homework. Which one is it?
Last time, the last one. The last one.
Okay, the homework is in the formatting formatting labels and values exercise. I think everyone downloaded it.
At this time, classes in level 3, computer basics and orientation, you may dismiss.
So everyone downloaded it from Schoology already. If you weren't here when we downloaded, you go to Schoology, to the Microsoft Excel folder, and download and save formatting labels and values exercise. The homework is sheet 2. We already did sheet 1. So your homework is sheet 2. Your homework is sheet 2. Any questions? Oh, was I recording? Oh, yeah, I was recording, yeah. Okay, great. Okay, so how did we do?
Glenda, good night.
Uh-huh. Okay, you got it okay, Fetya?
Yeah, I'm fine. Thank you, Ms. Landa. See you
Sure.
tomorrow.
Sure, see you tomorrow.
Good night. Thank you
Good
for
night.
everything.
Jean, did you get any of it? We are recording it, so if you didn't get any of it, you can see the recording.
Thank you, Miss Yolanda. Good night, everyone.
Good night, Yasungo. No questions? Clara, how's your hand
No, Miss
doing?
Yolanda. Thank you.
Okay, have a good night. See you tomorrow.
Tomorrow, teacher, thank you very much.
How are you doing?
Thank
Much
you.
better, much better. See you
Oh,
tomorrow,
great.
teacher. Good
Great.
night. Thank you so much.
Okay, have a good night.
Thank you, teacher, same.
Okay, Jean, have a good night.
Good night. Thank you.
Oh, go to, Jean, go to Schoology,
Uh-huh.
At this
class.
time, classes in level 2 and GD, you may dismiss.
The class information folder. There's information about your grade and information about the class that you chose, the first choice, if you pass the class,
Okay.
for next semester. It's
Okay.
at the bottom of the page, okay? So
Okay.
if there's anything that's incorrect, let me know.
So you say I have to go to Schoology and
Schoology class information folder,
okay.
and you'll see a document with your name and
Okay.
then grades.
Okay.
Mhm.
Thank you.
So look at it and let me know if there's any problems with it.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, have a good night.
Uh-huh.
Teacher.